bloodsuckers.
As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell,
Join us!
you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil.
We have such sights to show you.
A veil that is beyond our own comprehension.
I'm just gonna bash your brains.
Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
That's right, we're back for episode 199, and today we're going to be talking about movies involving monsters in closets with Monster in the Closet from 1986 and
Cameron's Closet from 1988. We're back to the fucking 80s again.
technically it's 89
Oh, whatever. It's
because
one
it came
year.
out in January.
Oh,
Just
but
saying.
that is not. If it came out in January.
Fuck you.
Is it?
Anyway, guys, we're back, and we are excited to talk about these movies, of course. One being a Troma one, which we haven't done a Troma movie in a long time. So this is kind of nice to go back and watch some of the stuff that I liked from Troma back then.
You know what? I haven't really seen that many Troma movies.
I have, but I did fall off from the Troma train.
When?
I don't know, like 10, 20 years ago or so.
Oh, so they're still making movies, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. They make a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I stopped. I think things changed a little bit in their stuff, but I really need to give it a chance. And they do have an online service, like a streaming service or whatever that you can use. So I'm going to look into that, and maybe we'll, do a fucking Troma roulette where we watch like a Troma movie. We spin the wheel, see what we watch each week.
Oh, yay.
I don't know. It might be fun, I like Troma movies, and I need to check out more. So I definitely don't know why I just fell off of watching them. I don't know. So anyway, but we got these two movies. They're pretty crazy, pretty out there fucking movies. One's more of a comedy, and the other one's more of like a serious kind of movie. But we'll get into that here in a little bit more. What about you, though? How have you been? What's going on?
Good. Working. Doing stuff with you. We started watching Lovecraft Country.
This Old Haunted House.
Oh, yeah, I had to take a little bit of a break.
I was talking about that Brian Kindle from fucking Terrible Terror. We were making up names for our new podcast called This Old Haunted House. And
that's awesome. I would do it. We should do a YouTube channel and just.
Well, there used to be a TV show called This Old House.
Yeah, I know.
And then that guy with the jacket, like the fucking puffy jacket.
What was his name? Roy?
I don't remember.
Bob?
Something.
Oh, yes.
And I think that's where they got the idea for Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Right.
Is from that.
Right.
And then, and then there was a show on HBO called Hardcore TV that did a spinoff of This Old House, and they called it This Old Whore House. And it was a guy like recreating a house while people were getting fucked in the
Oh my God. Okay.
It was really out there shit. But if you guys are old enough and you used to watch like back in the 90s and the late 90s even, where they were just trying to like do shit to just piss people off, I think.
Oh,
or
that's
just be
why.
weird. And it was like called Hardcore TV. I actually have all the episodes. It's
of course
pretty crazy.
You do.
They had like so much crazy stuff in there. Like they would have like reading time where this Rastafarian guy would read like stories from a book, and then they would be all about like getting fucked and like killed and all this other crazy shit. But the pictures would be like childhood pictures, like book pictures, like for children. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I don't know. It's stupid, but it was funny. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, you couldn't get away with that shit nowadays. Let's put it that way. We've also been watching, I've been watching some stuff. I've been watching Doom Patrol, which has been pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Really enjoyed that. Although I'm kind of, the end of the season, the first season's kind of teetering, but I'm looking to watch the second season and see how that goes.
It reels you back in.
Yeah, I think some of them got postponed or something, but I don't know. We got HBO Max specifically for Lovecraft Country,
like I
which,
said.
if you guys don't know, and you guys want like a sort of a mini episode each week, we're doing a thing on Tuesdays where we basically talk about each episode of Lovecraft Country. Now, granted, the first episode we did, we really had no idea what we were expecting, so we were just kind of like winging it.
We watched it and we recorded.
Yeah, we literally watched it the same day and then recorded, which is like totally against everything we normally do. We just wanted to talk about it and have fun together and do something new for some new content on our YouTube channel.
So the one time we don't do any research.
The one time, and you guys know how informative I can be and like how I talk too goddamn much about just about every fucking thing. Which is why I do podcasting. But the one time that I do it, some fucking jagoff. I mean, we get stupid comments all the time, you know, about fucking, you know, you didn't mention this, or, you know, that's not even bad, actually. Some of those are nice, but we get jagoffs that are like, oh, you big-eyed piece of shit. You look like a frog, or whatever the fuck it is, you know, dumb shit like that. But this guy was like, come on, guys, spend at least 5 minutes researching before you do it. And I was like, dog. Like, this was never intended to be some deep dive, but even before he wrote that, he's right. We didn't feel confident enough about that episode that we did, so we were going to already surprise and middle finger to that guy. We were already planning on doing it kind of like we do our episodes, where we go in deep and try to like pick apart little things and stuff. So if you enjoyed Lovecraft Country, which just came out on HBO Max, and you want to follow us along on that, we'll try to do our best not only to talk about it, point out some of the hidden little gems in it and stuff like that, and just give our thoughts on it. Just talk about it because we like it. I got like 2 cameras set up now, so if you guys want to follow along each week, every Tuesday we'll have a new episode up where we talk about it. And then so it's just a fun little thing that we're doing about Lovecraft Country, and I believe there's 10 episodes, so if you aren't following our YouTube yet, you should, because we're trying to hit 2,000 by the end of the year. But I think it might be that time.
What time is it?
Horror Shots! All right, guys, so we are going to do our horror shot, which is...
Wait, is there horror? It's horror cocks. It's horror cocks.
Oh, God.
Because we didn't exactly do a shot. This is a cocktail, so it's a horror cock.
5 minutes later.
No. It's already bad that people think our fucking pictures for our horror shots say horror shits.
That's pretty fucking
funny. Which I really don't care. I think it's funny anyway, because then someone's like, why does it say horror shits? What the fuck?
And then they're like, oh, it's a shot glass.
Yeah. Ooh, gee, I wonder if we can add 2 and 2.
I don't care. These are horror cocks.
Whatever. Okay, Christina, we're not calling it horror cocks.
Cocktails. You guys, we have to lure Alec. God damn it.
So, we decided to pick one of the movies that we're going to be talking about today, and we picked Monster in the Closet to do for our horror shot theme today. And we even took a really nice little picture that includes some of the elements from the movie in it, which we're pretty proud of.
Very much so. And I got to eat a candy bar because we had to get a crunch bar.
Right. Like, we really went all out for this shot, and we actually bought out extra alcohol and all other stuff. And this isn't a horror shot necessarily. It's like Christina said, it's kind of a cocktail. It's a cocktail. It's a small cocktail that you use with ice. And there are a lot of ingredients in this. So you're probably going to want to look up some of the ingredients, but we're calling this shot cock shot. We're calling this one a long-eyed iced tea. And what and why are we calling it a long-eyed iced tea, Christina? What do you think?
I don't know.
Well, in the movie, there is a guy named Richard who is a journalist and he's a reporter. Every time he takes off his glasses, people stare at him like he's the most beautiful thing in the world. So we're calling this a long-eyed iced tea. Get it?
Oh, I get it.
Okay, it's not supposed to be funny. It's just supposed to be poignant.
I get it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I thought it had to do with the eyeballs on the monster.
I'm going for accuracy, not comedy here, okay?
Oh, that's a first.
Wow. Boy, guys, we got some strong critics in the audience today.
I got some jokes today.
You just hear a gunshot in here, and then all of a sudden Christina isn't talking for the rest of the So Christina went to the bathroom. Anyway, so what you're going to put in this drink is 1 ounce of Captain Morgan. You're going to mix this in a mixer. You could put ice in there and shake it up too if you want, but I wouldn't advise shaking up the last bit that I have in here. But it's 1 ounce Captain Morgan white rum, 1 ounce of vodka, 1 ounce of tequila, 1 ounce of gin, 1 ounce of triple sec, 1 ounce of lemon juice, and we even included a Monster energy drink called Ultra Red to this drink. And why would we add Monster to a long-eyed iced tea?
Is it because there was a monster in the closet?
You know what? You're not going to get a gunshot today.
Woohoo!
You saved yourself. There goes your soul. Anyway.
Bam!
Alex put noises in of gunshots a lot.
Bam, bam, bam! Yeah, see, I just do it for you. You don't need...
Years later, they're like, we knew it was coming. He shot her. We should have known when they listened to the podcast. This was a breadcrumb trail to him murdering Christina. Anyway, guys. So if you would like to try, we have one right here.
Oh, I'm excited to try it.
Yeah, we haven't tried it yet, but we mixed it up. It smells good, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to sip on
I actually
this.
don't mind Long Island iced teas, so this is kind of a nice little twist.
And I'm going to sip on it through the whole episode. It's
Cheers,
nice.
Christina.
Nice not to do shots.
It's actually pretty good.
Oh, that is good. Oh, that's weird.
You put in 5 ounces of the Rockstar energy drink. So if you want to do twice as much, you just double the ingredients, by the way. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
But we didn't need to be doing that. We didn't need to be doubling.
Right. But yeah, this tastes great.
Good. It's a good idea. I might have to come on stream with you and we can make some of these.
Yeah, it's fucking good. I never knew I knew that there was all that ingredients in there, but I never knew like how much portion to put in. Mm-hmm. So it always tastes a little funky. They wanted us to use simple syrup, and I was like, fuck that. Just get an energy drink, and that's like more than enough simple syrup.
And we'll get Monster because it matches.
Yeah, exactly. Because we're clever.
Yes.
Give us where's my clever badge?
Poignant, Alex. We're poignant.
Accurate.
Oh, whatever.
Anyway, but guys, if you would like to try one of our long-eyed iced teas, all you have to do is go to longlivethevoid.com and check out our hashtag horror shot section now. That's it for Horror Shots. All right, guys, so now we're going to go ahead and jump into our flesh and potatoes of Monsters in the Closets with Monster in the Closet from 1986 and
Cameron's Closets from 1988 or 89, whatever.
Right now.
So I did the work on Monster in the Closet, so I'm going to start it off, kick us off. Let's kick it off.
Let's do it. I can't wait for you to tell me these things.
I got some really cool stuff that I found in both of these movies, really. Well, there's not a lot of trivia to these, so we're pretty much just going to do a typical breakdown, and I did some deep digs on some of the people that were in this just to kind of like add to some of the information, because literally there was no extras on both of the DVDs that we had. Other than Troma stuff. It had nothing to do with Monster in the Closet, so. But the story is, after several people and a dog are found dead in their closets, a mild-mannered reporter, a college professor, her son, and a befuddled professor band together to uncover the mystery of the monster
in the closet.
That's a good synopsis of this.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. They use professor too much. It's college professor. The son, his name is Professor.
Stupid.
And a befuddled professor. Like, how many fucking professors do you need in a movie? Anyway, this movie was written and directed by Bob Dolan. This is pretty much the only thing he ever directed. Like, his first and only feature film.
Oh, wow.
Bob is mostly a second unit director or assistant director. He even was one in Damien Omen 2.
Oh.
Surprise, surprise. Bob is known for doing other movies, though, that he worked on as a assistant director for Starman, Project Alf, Free Willy 2, Around the World in 80 Days, and a few more. Story is also by Peter L. Bergquist, which is his only writing credit, by the way. He was also an assistant director, and he worked on movies like Superman 1978, Herbie Goes Bananas, Captain EO with Michael Jackson.
I forgot about that.
And In the Heat of the Night TV show, which had the All in the Family, not All in the Family, what was the one that was like, everybody's talking love, those were the days.
That was All in the Family.
Is it All in the Family?
Yeah, because we just watched the
Okay, well, it had that guy in there with somebody else, and they were cops.
Oh, okay.
It was a Heat of the Night.
Oh, Heat of the Night.
So, some of the cast in this movie, Donald Grant, he plays Richard, the journalist. This was his first role. He was on the show Dallas, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Dear John. Also stars Denise Dewberry, who plays Professor Diane Bennett. She's the crazy lady who supposedly gets blamed for calling the monster a giant snake, but it really isn't. She was in a few episodes of Charlie's Angels, The Love Boat, a movie called The Devil and Max Devlin, and 7 Days to Vegas. Also stars Claude Atkins, the sheriff, who has been in a lot of stuff. I always, of course, remember him from The Curse as the father in that movie. He started his acting career in the 50s, so he was in the show Rawhide, Gunsmoke, Night Stalker.
Gunsmoke.
Gunsmoke's a big one. Battle for the Planet of the Apes, Erie, Indiana, and so many more. Like, I could go for a long time. He's got a large credit list.
Right.
Also stars Howard Duff, who plays the preacher. He was a seasoned actor as well. He was in Dallas, Magnum P.I., a show in the 80s called Werewolf, by the way.
What?
Which I don't remember.
80s? I don't remember either. Maybe Sarah knows.
Maybe. She might,
I bet
actually.
Sarah knows.
She's our friend and fan of the show who loves werewolves.
Our resident werewolf knowledge professor.
Our lead werewolf in the podcast. Howard Duff also acted in not just The Werewolf Show, but Love Boat, Oh God, Book 2, and Kung Fu, and many more. We also have Henry Gibson, who played Dr. Pennyworth. He's my favorite in the movie, personally. Mm-hmm. He was in the movies like Magnolia, Inner Space, The Blues Brothers as the Nazi guy who flies the car and they play all that music while he's falling.
Oh, I don't remember.
Yeah, and he was also in Biodome, Erie, Indiana, Gremlins 2, and the big one, another big one, is The Burbs. He was the neighbor who lived next door.
Oh.
He's that guy, yeah. I love him as an actor. He's really good. He was also in National Lampoon's Vacation as well.
Oh, was he?
Many more. He's a classic comedy actor, like classic. Mm-hmm. Very over-the-top acting, very unique.
Mm-hmm. You could tell.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, he was.
Also has Donald Moffat, who plays General Turnbull. Obviously, he was in The Thing, if you guys remember. John Carpenter's The Thing, of course. I know you gentlemen have been through a lot, but when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking chair.
Good job.
I fucking love that, dude. That shit cracks me up every time I watch The Thing, dude. He was also in The Right Stuff, Popeye, Logan's Run TV series,
Jeez.
Earthquake.
Yeah, he was in a lot. The
Terminal Man, and even an episode of Gunsmoke as well. So he's been around a little while too. Also, last but not least, we have Stacey Ferguson in this movie. She plays Lucy from the Black Eyed Peas. Yep.
The movie or the...
No, Black Eyed Peas, the fucking band. She's the singer, was. Fergie.
Oh.
Stacey Ferguson. Fergie.
What? Who did she play?
I will tell you that later, but for now, keep guessing. But she's in this movie, and she's, I won't say what it is yet.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's weird.
I know. I was like, oh my God.
And Paul Walker?
Yeah, Paul Walker's in this movie as well. He plays the professor. We obviously know who. He was in a lower on the list of actors too, which I thought he was like one of the main three.
Yeah, he was in it a lot.
Anyway, but Paul Walker's also in this movie. We obviously know what he's done. It was like one of his first roles.
Wow.
We also have Paul Dooley, John Carradine in it as well. So there was a lot of really big talent in this movie, which is really strange. Also, some of the special effects or creature design was done by Ron Wild. He did work on Space Invaders, Home Alone, Beyond Evil, Jaws of Satan, and he also worked on Command and Conquer games for some of the design in that too. Isn't that weird?
I don't know what that is.
It's a video game.
Oh, that's why I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Also, this movie released in October 31st, 1986, but was later released on VHS by Troma Team Video in 1995.
Oh.
So it had sat out there for a little while. Now, I don't know if they were the first to distribute this movie, but I think they were. So, but Christina, what are your thoughts on this movie?
I thought Monster in the Closet was good.
Yeah?
I enjoyed myself.
Okay.
I found it entertaining.
It is fun.
It is. I even liked, it was a fun movie. It was ridiculous. It was over the top.
Right.
Dude, the creature effects or the monster effects, oh my god, that was like the coolest monster. It was it was ridiculous. I know I already said that, but whatever. And I loved how the monster sounds, like how he sounded. Yeah, it's just like, it was so silly.
I can do it real easy. Watch. So yeah, I'll do it again.
Good job.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah,
pretty good.
That. Yeah. I loved in the beginning when they were alluding to the monster, and it was. Did you notice it made cat sounds? It was like meow, meow.
Oh, the cat made human cat noises.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was ridiculous. The plot was like,
predictable.
Yeah, it was predictable, and it was over the top.
But how they went about doing it.
Yeah, and it was just like, and they made it like this national emergency that this monster was like in the closets and shit, which
everybody bought onto, and we now know that nobody believes anything when any national emergency happens.
Well, yeah,
as we're experiencing now, so we have to change everything about movies everywhere, where everybody unifies around one common problem and fixes it. That is no longer a thing in existence because we're selfish pieces of shit.
And I was thinking that we'll talk more about it like towards when we're talking about the movie, but that was something I was thinking. But other than that,
God bless America.
Also, the monster didn't really make sense. They didn't explain how there was a littler monster inside of the monster, and it would just like pop up like randomly. Oh, you got some insight on that?
And I would have loved to see the monster world.
Yes, or something. I mean, we don't know where this monster came from. We don't know anything. We just know it makes weird noises.
Where did he
kills
work?
People.
Like that's what.
Where did he work? How did he live?
Maybe this was his job, like Monsters Incorporated. Because this is very similar to the plot.
It totally is similar to Monsters Incorporated. Anyway, a score for this movie. I gave it a 6. 6 out of 10. Okay. That's not bad, right? I'm glad we own it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Out of all the Troma movies I've seen, this one's pretty good. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, it's a PG rated film, so I mean, it's not exactly.
I don't know why there's boobies.
Yeah, we got to see some tits. Yeah.
In the shower. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. Oh, that was gross what you just did. It was fucking disgusting. What did you think, Alex?
Well, I'm glad that you asked, Christina. What was that look?
I was getting
She rolled her eyes and took a sip.
Yes, I can't wait to hear you talk.
Well, this is a movie that I've loved for a very long time. I'm not sure when I watched it first, but I'm pretty sure that the cover lured me into its PG nipple embrace. So it does have nipples, like she mentioned. So this is kind of like a spoofy movie, although I wouldn't call it an official spoof film, but they have spoof moments in it that reference other material, which is pretty cool.
It's kind of tribute-y.
Right, but it does it in a funny way.
Yeah, they do their own spin on it.
Right. So it's, of course, about a monster that kills people emerging from their closets. Pretty much as simple as that. I thought for a second maybe there was some sort of subtext where it's about some guy coming out of the closet, like, but it is not about that. And I looked up, there's a book called Monsters in the Closet about transgender, coming out of the closet and things like that. And it's like a book all about that.
Oh,
I think they mentioned vampires or something in it too. I don't know what it is. I didn't read the book, but it was while I was searching all this stuff, I found it and I was like, well, so I'm not the only one making that comparison or thinking that they might have like addressed that. There are some pretty big actors in it. So it's not just some tiny movie. One of my favorites in the movie, aside from young Paul Walker, is a professor, which is Henry Gibson, which I mentioned earlier. I love his acting in this. I thought it was the perfect touch. I think he's really the shining part of this movie other than the monster itself. His role is just really great for this movie, and his lines and delivery are really perfect for it. It's just really subtle, funny shit. Lots of jokes about other movies, like I mentioned. We got Psycho, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, even Beauty and the Beast. Just a lot of zany, silly jokes tucked into here and there, but I think it's a pretty decent film that's worth watching. It's not without its flaws, obviously. You can see boom mics popping into the fucking screen.
Didn't a whole wall fall down?
Yeah, but they kind of, they used it in the film to make fun of themselves.
Yeah.
That's the kind of nature of this film.
It was nice.
It's zany.
Yeah.
But it's not gory or scary in the least, but it's a nice odd gem that I think people, who seek out older Troma movies should probably check out. The camera work is okay, nothing great, but it does deliver some of the humor that you might like. There are times with shitty jokes and good jokes, and just it's just got a good nature to it. I don't know how to explain it. Unintentional shaky cams, we saw that a lot, but somehow it ends up making the movie feel like it's this bigger movie, because the story is kind of a big story, and they did a really good job, I'm sure, for the budget that they had. I mean, there was a lot of people that worked on this movie. I'm wondering how many people actually got paid,
right? Or they're just favors,
because they made it stretch and they made it seem like a really big movie, more than it probably had enough money to do.
And they had a lot of extras and stuff in the whole office.
Oh my god, whole sets and everything.
Yeah. I thought that was odd.
So they there's an effort put into this movie, even if it is a silly, just throwaway kind of jokey comedy movie. And I mentioned Monsters Incorporated, where it almost seems like Monsters Incorporated got the idea from. This is pre-Little Monsters. This is also pre-Monsters Incorporated. Not that, Monsters in the Closet, somebody wouldn't have come up with this idea eventually, because somebody probably would have.
And it's not original.
Because where do the monsters in the closets come from? They just appear? Obviously we think about these things, but I still think it's kind of interesting that Little Monsters did one 3 years later, and then it was Monsters Incorporated in the 2000s.
I do not remember Little Monsters. I could see the cover.
Well, we ordered it, so it's on the way.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We ordered it and Shivers for $28 from Diabolic DVD.
Ah.
So that's coming in September, so we'll be doing those movies as well.
Yay.
So I'm excited for them. I like Little Monsters, but this one isn't as good as Little Monsters, probably not as good as Monsters Incorporated, but for what it is a good movie. And if you got a taste for some sort of silly spoof comedies with plots that you can see a mile away, this one might be for you. I'd give this a 6.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
And I still think it could be more for other people. It is a memorable one that you might pull out and go, oh yeah, that weird movie, So I'm surprised it didn't have a Blu-ray yet, to be honest. And I bought this for, I think it was $14 to $17 on eBay.
When did you buy this?
I bought this a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. I don't remember you get something.
And it's now $117 on Amazon.
Oh, you should sell it.
Yeah, right. Not gonna do it.
Does somebody want to buy this movie for
Shut the fuck up.
Let's just do 120 free shipping. Free shipping.
But you can watch this movie on rent on Prime or on YouTube for free. But, I always advise trying to help support the industry, especially one that we work in. Two, if you can, because if you like seeing movies come out and you want people to be, to make new movies, you should, honestly, in my opinion. There are times that I have made exceptions because I couldn't find it or I couldn't afford it or whatever. So I understand, but we try to make an effort to pay back. Put money into the industry we love so much. So, but that's the end of my rant on that. But yeah, I think you guys would enjoy it if you like older comedies. It's in that fun, cheeky, PG, old school PG kind of movie with nipples. And if you don't like comedy, at least you got tits. So
a little bit. Grandma's tits.
Oh God. So yeah, but that's pretty much it, guys.
Can I just mention?
Yeah.
These horror cocks are pretty good.
You like the cocktails,
I like the cocktails.
Wait for it, guys. She's going to get out of fucking control.
Getting a little sloshy.
She's going to get a little fucking out of control, guys. So hang in there.
I haven't been drinking, so,
We do have some of the trivia, which is it's a movie. That's about as much as I could find about it. There really isn't any trivia on this movie, by the way. So I don't know.
Go.
Yeah. So we're pretty much just going to go over some of the scenes in the movie that we liked and talk about some of the funny things that we saw in it and kind of go over it. If you want to skip this part, you can always go down to the timestamps below and check out the next movie we're going to be talking about, which is Cameron's Closet, a scary kid movie almost. You can skip down to that below. But here's your warning before we jump into any of the scenes or spoilers. So they start the movie with multiple closet happenings.
And they just jumped right into it.
They did.
Which I enjoyed.
What was the first one?
The first one was the sorority
house, yeah.
The sorority girl. And she got dragged into the closet. And
the funny one to me was the one with the blind guy.
Yeah, that was the next one. Well, the dog disappears.
Well, first, before we get there, one of the blind guy who is just insanely upset that he has a seeing eye dog to help him around the house. He's like very upset about it, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and he's like yelling for the dog, go give me my slippers.
He's trying to hit the dog with his cane.
Yeah.
But he can't see it, and he's doing just a terrible job. I think that's John Carradine, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's John Carradine. Mm-hmm. He's overacting like a motherfucker, but it was funny. He gets eaten by the closet, complete with clothes being tossed up in the air.
Well, and the dog was hanging on the closet door.
Right.
And it was obviously a taxidermied dog.
I don't know if it was taxidermy, but it looked like
It looked like like the eyes in the.
It looked kind of real, yeah.
Taxidermied.
Yeah, there was also another little girl who we were thrilled to see get swallowed by the closet monster.
This little fucking cunt.
Which is, wow, Christina.
Dude, she was a bitch.
Get her a drink in her.
She was only like.
Fill her full of cock and she fucking gets out of control.
She was only. I'm talking about the movie. Shut up. The little girl was only in it for like 3 minutes, but you could already tell she was a little bitch.
You hated her?
I did not like her.
Well, her character, right? Or did you hate?
Yeah. Well,
you hated the actress, or?
I hate everybody.
So you hated Stacey Ferguson then?
Is that who it was?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up! Oh my god! I totally see it now. That was totally her.
It is.
She was such a fucking bitch.
Well, she was playing one.
Well, I know. Her character.
God, you're getting out of control here.
She deserved to get eaten by the monster.
Yeah, we definitely were happy to see her die. We were not looking for the actress to get killed.
I can't believe that was Fergie because she was in my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Planet Terror.
She's
my favorite movie.
She's getting wet.
Get a whop. You got a whop.
Oh my god. All right, that's enough. Anyway, so this whole movie takes place in San Francisco, where Richard is working at the Daily Globe. You know, he's trying to get out of his obituaries job. He hates it, and he feels like he has more potential, than to just write up stupid obituaries. And so he approaches the chief or the head of the Daily Globe, and then Scoop comes in. Scoop's the top reporter for the fucking Daily Globe.
Show.
Yeah, and he's such a douche noz. Like, he really is.
Yeah.
Fucking little prick. He pulls an article out of the trash and is like, oh, maybe we should help him out. Here, you can have my story. You go find it. And it's like a 3-week-old ad that was in the newspaper like 3 weeks ago that they trashed because they thought it was like
a joke or something.
Like Enquirer stuff. What do they call those? Tabloids?
Oh, National Enquirer.
Yeah, like the tabloid.
The paparazzi. I don't even know. They don't even have them anymore. TMZ, that's what it is. It's TMZ.
But it's, of course, about the closet murders. And, of course, Richard takes the bait and they make fun of him about it. And then he visits a police officer where in the town where this monster had basically killed some of the kids. Killed the kid, the old man, and the sorority.
Man, yeah, the sorority sister.
And he runs into Paul Walker, who's a kid there at the same police station. And
he's never had candy before. He's never had a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
So we're there at the vending machine, and he gets a chocolate bar.
And what kind of chocolate bar?
It was a Crunch bar, which we're eating. And,
Did you already eat yours?
Yeah, fuck yeah, I already ate
Oh my
mine.
God, Christina, I want to try a bite.
You can't put candy in front of me, and that's my vice. I'm addicted. But anyway.
I haven't had a Nestle Crunch since I was a kid.
I'm pissed off because they're in big chunks. Because usually they're in the smaller things they break into, but those are bigger. Piss me off. But anyway, so Paul Walker had never had chocolate before, so he got the chocolate. And then the mom, who's actually like a biology professor at the college, she was at the police station, so that was her son. And she was yelling at Clark, reporter guy, whatever the fuck his name is.
We're calling him Clark.
Clark. We're calling him Clark?
Richard Kent.
Oh, Kent. I'm sorry. Well, I was thinking of Superman because they obviously named him.
Yeah, they made it as
Kent
an ode to Superman.
Because, yeah, it's weird. I wrote down Clark. But anyway, so she gets all pissed off at him because he gave her son chocolate and he's never had chocolate because it's poison. It's poison. But later on in the movie, he's eating fucking Velveeta cheese on cauliflower because, you know, Velveeta isn't poison. Because, like, Velveeta's, like, real cheese, which it's not.
Right. Which,
I will fight you.
Which, by the way, the Nestle Crunch is actually pretty good. I've been trying not to eat it in the mic for you guys, but I wanted to try it.
That's why I was talking. So
well, I got the drunchies.
You got the drunk
munchies. Anyway, so this is where we get to see the PG nips. Let's get to the good stuff, huh?
Now, before we get to that, I liked how... So there's this lady in the shower, and it is totally ripping off the Psycho scene.
Mm-hmm.
But what I loved what they did about it is right when it was like getting scary, like
right when you see the shadow walk up to the curtain behind her.
Right, the curtain pulls back, and it's her husband. And they didn't do that once. They didn't do that twice. What did they do? That 3 times or 4 times? 3
I think
times.
it was like 4 times. Yeah,
it was like 4 fucking times they did that. But it was so funny.
But it was still funny.
Yeah, but that's where you see the nips. It's like they keep panning down.
Right, her dish plates.
Yeah. But so what's her dish plates? Oh my god. Anyway, so what's good about this scene is so he tells her that, you know, hey, I'm gonna go to the store and blah blah blah. Oh, I need some. So that one of the times he comes back, he needed money.
Right.
And she was like, oh, it's in the closet. It's in my purse in the closet.
And that's when he gets pulled in by the
monster.
cartoonishly fucking ridiculous. This is the first time we see any bit of the monster, by the way, because they don't even show his hand, or they just show his hand there, but they don't show anything else.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was perfect.
Right.
Like they just give you little hints of this monster creature. Yeah, so I thought that was good.
Now, Richard Kent, of course, the Globe reporter, goes to the lab where the lady who thinks that the snake is killing people. Mm-hmm. Well, she didn't really say that, but the sheriff says that.
Said, yeah.
He goes to the lab where she works at, and she was talking about how the puncture wounds, because the monster has a mouth and another mouth, kind of like Alien, where a mouth comes out of its mouth and bites.
Oh.
It's kind of an ode to Alien.
Okay.
How it pops out.
Oh. Okay, I see that.
And she talks about the puncture wounds being just like a snake. Mm-hmm. So at dinner, she invites him to come over kind of like in a nice way, but not really trying to invite him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I don't have plans at all. And she's like, oh, okay. So he comes over to dinner with her son, the professor, Paul Walker, and the old man, Henry Gibson.
Wait, you're saying that wrong. So it's the priest?
Oh, the priest too, yeah.
The priest?
What an odd motley crew that this is.
The priest, the professor, Paul Walker, and a reporter.
Such a motley crew.
Like
yeah, like, why is the professor at her work? You think it's her father, but it's not.
Yeah, but they live together. It looked like they lived together there with him. So it's like,
I'm so confused. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I missed it, and they
maybe
are.
She's just his caretaker too. You know what I mean?
She just calls him professor. She never says dad or anything like that.
Yeah,
so.
that could, yeah.
But at dinner, he takes off his glasses, and she's like entranced by his beauty. And like while they hear a man freaking out about a monster in the closet outside of their house. So it just so happens that this like instantaneous thing happens, and bam, instant cops are there, like no wait whatsoever. And this is a pretty big town. I'm sorry,
it's a college town.
Yeah, it's a huge town, and like the sheriff is there instantaneous. I mean, talk about service. It's great here in wherever it is. Where was it? San Francisco? Yeah, it's in San Francisco.
It's outside of San Francisco.
Oakwood or some shit.
Chestnut Hills.
Chestnut. There, that's right.
A college town.
Anyway. He commands the monster to come out, and it busts out the front door, and it looks like the monster in Howard the Duck, like the end monster.
Oh, I don't remember.
Only smaller, like a more man-sized monster. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think that would be actually a good pairing with this movie.
Oh.
Howard the Duck and this movie.
Let's just cancel Cameron's Closet. Let's go watch.
Yeah, let's go watch that and record. Yeah, no, thank you. I would like to see that movie again, though, because I like that movie.
I haven't seen it in a
lot of people hate it, and I don't know why. I think it's a great movie. It's got a lot of weird shit in it. The cop is like yelling at the fucking thing, and he's like, all right, Halloween's over, buddy. Take off your costume. And its mouth is like gaping, like cocksuckery hole. Like, it almost looks like a butthole with teeth, or like a sarlacc pit almost. Like, I don't know how to explain it.
Vagina dentina?
Yeah, and then this fucking like pinkish, like mouth tongue comes out like a dick. And bites him on the chest, so the cops like start lighting it up, but nothing's doing any harm to it whatsoever, and it starts turning over cars and shit, which I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I don't know how they did that because I didn't see any wires or anything.
Yeah, you would think maybe they just lifted up the car.
Yeah, I doubt that. The closet monster goes public because now that it's revealed itself to all these cops, now it's like real. I
love after that scene they did the famous spinning newspaper because we don't get that anymore.
Oh yeah,
you know
the
what
spinning.
I mean? Like the spinning. Yeah. We don't get that in any movies anymore.
Right.
So that was really cool to see. I just wanted to point that out.
When that happens too, the Dr. Pennyworth that was at dinner with them with the preacher. Mm-hmm. So it's like Dr. Pennyworth, the other lab professor lady, the child that's a lab professor. Did I say the preacher?
I think so.
And then Richard, whatever, all five of them or whatever are this team now, like working together to solve the mystery of the closet monster. And Mr. Pennyworth, he keeps telling this fucking story
about this frog.
About a fucking frog like 4 times in the movie, which is kind of funny. I mean, it's kind of dumb after a while, but it was funny the first time. He's like, oh, I had this frog. And when I cut open this frog because he tells the story at dinner while they're eating, and he talks about squeezing the pus sac and it squirted on his face, and that's when he realized that maybe you shouldn't kill things or something like that.
Like you needed that to happen to realize
but they do it intentionally because later on when he dies, he's like, I see frogs everywhere. Frogs. But yeah, there's a general that wants to destroy it, and of course, Dr. Pennyworth.
He figures out how to communicate with the monster, right?
The kid they call Professor Paul Walker is playing some sort of tape that he recorded from that night, and it hears the monster screech doing the. He's like, "What is that? What is that?" And the doctor's like, "Ha ha 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 ha." Hum 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 hum. And the way, like, his acting here is so good.
Yeah, it was.
Like, he's just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's not like, we're not talking like Dances with Wolves fucking acting here, but just the way that his acting is.
Wait,
it's very expressive.
Out of all the movies you pick,
I don't know.
Dances with Wolves.
Well, I'm just trying to say it's not serious, but the way that, like, his acting is done, he does a really good job of making you believe that this character is coming up with this idea in his mind.
Right.
And doing it in sort of a comedic, funny way. Like, there's a scene coming up that I absolutely fucking love in this movie that just made me crack up, like, the whole time, how ridiculous it is. Because this is, like, really long scene. Because he learns that these notes might be a way to talk with the monster. And literally, that's a course of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Right.
The note structure and the hand things that they do, the gesture. Whatever, they're doing something different with this one. It sounds different, but they were definitely making a nod to that movie. So he grabs a xylophone with everybody, and this is the part that really cracked me up, and they're walking around the streets in the middle of broad daylight with the old doctor, Henry Gibson, in it, holding a xylophone, playing the notes.
And then the priestess standing behind them with their crucifix. Yeah. Like it's the fucking Exorcist or something. Walking around with the...
What was those old mystery books that when we were kids that they used to have, the Hardy Boys? It just reminded me of like the Hardy Boys going around like fucking looking for like mysteries and shit, But it's just like they're so scared. They're literally walking down their own street playing the xylophone, going into different buildings, and you're like waiting for it to pop out, and it never does.
Right.
Which I thought was kind of funny.
And they went into a somehow they ended up in a little girl's room and it had all these creepy dolls all over the place.
I don't remember that. I remember them going into the business and then searching the building.
It was before that because they were all the creepy dolls. He said something about how they were creeping them out.
Oh, okay.
And they walked into the closet. That's right, because that's when the rival reporter pops in. Is they open the closet door, and it's supposed to be a jump scare,
right?
Because they
and
were
it
like,
scoops.
Yeah, and it scoops, jumps out at them, and then they all go outside, and then they're in the street, and they see something in a window in a business. Like, nukes.
Yeah, which it's this. All these scenes are really long and unnecessary, but it's kind of funny.
It's funny. It's fun. That's
I don't know what
fun.
it is. It's just so stupid the way that they're acting.
Yeah, so they go into the building and they're looking for the monster.
Can I tell a quick story here?
No.
I think the reason I find it so funny, and I'm just going to tell you guys a drug story that I have here.
Shit, okay, what?
All right, so back in the day, I used to do some acid and shit, okay? And I loved it. I thought it was fun. You know what I mean? I used to smoke and do that and shit. And I went over to my buddy's house. Both of our parents were gone. Mm-hmm. And we did acid. And we were like, this is awesome. We can go between our houses and do whatever we want. You know, so we go downstairs. We're on acid. We do a bong hit. And we both looked at each other at the same moment. And it was like instantaneously, both of us started to trip really hard. But the funny thing is when we first took one hit, and it was a really big one. It was almost like the size of 4. And I was like, this is really good. So, we should take more because more is better, right? Mm-hmm. And that was a bad idea. Oh my God. So we took another one, went down to his house, took the bong hit, stared at each other in the eyes, and instantaneously it was like, we got the wave. If you guys know what I'm talking about by the wave came and washed over us. And all of a sudden, we were both laying on the floor. Mm-hmm. And we don't know why. And we were trying to speak to each other and we were coming in and out. And then I stood up and I looked at his head. I could not see anything but his head. Everything else was a fucking blur. And I was like, whoa. And we started losing our minds. Upstairs simultaneously, and this is why I'm bringing this up, we had Lords of Acid playing on the upstairs thing.
Oh, the music?
Yeah, the fucking darling, come here, fuck me up the rear. So we got that playing upstairs, and if you've listened to Lords of Acid, that album's kind of fast paced and techno music, LA techno, and we were scared. We were really scared. And the way we walked up the stairs is exactly how these people were walking around in this movie.
Oh, that's funny.
And I remember going up to the top of the stairs and going, I don't know, it's kind of loud. The music was going to hurt us. Like we were so scared. So we started chucking pillows at it till it stopped long enough that we could go run over and hit stop.
That's funny. I've never heard that story from you.
I might as well finish it now so I don't have to tell it again. But we were really fucked up and we thought, okay, well, maybe we'll take and play some Pink Floyd to calm down. Because obviously the opposite of Pink Floyd is Lords of Acid. So we put on Pink Floyd and holy shit, that just made it more heightened.
I bet.
We were really, really fucked up at that point in time. And then I started coming in and out of crazy. So I would have 5 minutes or a minute. Who knows what time is at that point in time when you're that fucked up. Mm-hmm. But I would have a moment where I would be cognizant and then another moment where I'd be panicking and it would come in these waves. So I thought I was going crazy.
Right.
And I went downstairs and I was like, okay, well, I'm never coming back from this. I got to write something down in case I go further and deeper into this hole. So Eric and I both had this idea to fucking write this shit down. And I was like, what do we write, man? This is our last word to the world, man. And he's like, I know. I was like, I still have the paper too. I was like, oh my God, Eric and I are losing our minds. I was like, we're playing a game of pool to see if there's still some reality left. There is no need to trip past this. I still have the paper, dude. I swear to God. I still
funny.
have it. It was scrawled on a piece of paper that we found in the dumpster or some shit that we could. Because, you know, when you're looking for stuff in this fucked up state, you don't even know.
Right.
How Eric was like trying to walk across the fucking street. And I was like, Eric, we got to run across the street, like, so we don't get hit, you know, because we lived across a major road.
Right.
And he was like, they'll move.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God.
And I was like, dude, you're going to fucking die. Like, what are you doing? So then he finally makes it across and he comes into my house and we can't smoke inside my house.
Right.
But he's bringing cigarettes in my house. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to get in fucking trouble. They're going to get mad that I was smoking in the house when they were gone. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, and so he'd go back out. And then as soon as he'd go out there, he'd be like, oh, I got to go inside. And then come in with the cigarette again. He did this like 10 times. And then I was like, Eric, you got to stop coming in, man. I'll come out with you. He puked on the floor in front of me.
Oh, my gosh.
We were fucked up. I remember at one point I called my girlfriend and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what's happened. You got to call the cops, man. I'm fucking call the cops. You got to call the cops. And then she'd be like, Alex, are you okay? And I'd be like, yeah, why? What's up? Yeah, I'm good. What do you mean? Like I'd forgotten everything I just said.
That's weird.
Anyway, sorry.
That's weird.
But them walking around, yeah, long story, but you got a little treat there, a little Alex nugget for you guys who listen, you know.
That was nice. I've never heard that.
You really never heard that story? That's one of my.
Told me that story.
I have a lot of trip stories.
You have a lot of stories.
Yeah, I have had a lot of experiences that I've probably, I don't know. Yeah, some scary tripping experiences. But that one was one of the big ones that kind of like made me slow my roll on doing that shit because that was like one of my first bad trips.
Oh wow.
So I was like, okay, maybe I've been doing this too much. Gotta slow it down, man. Get some fucking orange slices and get into the chill tent, man. Fucking chill over here, bro. Anyway, so in the movie, sorry. So they're searching business to business. They run in to finally open up a fucking closet, but it's not a closet, and it's an army guy. And he's like, what are you doing in here?
That was dumb.
And then they one of the army guys, they're like talking to the general again, and he's like, we gotta destroy it. And he's like, sir, we figured out the movements of the creature, and it's doing circular patterns at every 9 hours or some shit like that. And we figured out where it's gonna be right next. He's like, in 5 minutes, it's gonna be at the elementary school. And they're like, the professor.
The kid, Paul Walker's gonna die.
Who knew that it wasn't a monster in a closet, but a car? I'm sorry. That's terrible. I'm sorry. That's definitely not too soon.
That was
just tasteless.
That was pretty tasteless. Oh, Jesus. Pretty bad.
Anyway, but it grabs Paul Walker, the monster, of course, when they finally get there.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why is he at the school all by himself?
He's studying.
There's like nobody there.
Because smart kids don't need kids to be there to fucking learn. They like to learn.
What? What?
Didn't you see he was working on his project, which was like a sound resonator, which
will come in later.
It would boost the sounds of something so that it could
kill the monster.
It could vibrate it apart or something like that. I don't know what. Anyway, they try shooting it. And nobody's doing a goddamn thing while the monster's like fucking dragging the kid into the closet almost.
That was a funny scene too, because it was like the monster grabbed the kid and then Clark Kent or whatever the fuck his name is like grabbed the kid, and so it was like literally that was cool how they shot that because it was like the monster, the kid, and I'm like, how did they make it so it wasn't hurting poor Paul Walker?
I was thinking that too, like why isn't that choking the shit out of this kid right now? But he breaks off a nail from the monster, which the monster doesn't even realize, and then cuts the shirt with it. Like that seems so unnecessary in this movie,
out of control.
Like couldn't they just yanked him free from it? They had to use the nail.
Yeah, well, because the nail was
the second nail.
Yeah,
it's the second nail. He found one elsewhere,
right? And
then this one. So he didn't need two. Right. He only needed one. Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it's even more unnecessary.
Yeah, it's unnecessary.
Anyway, meanwhile, they run away from the monster. They get away, Paul Walker and him and everybody, as tanks show up and aim at it. And the general is, of course, trying to blow it up while Pennyworth is trying to tell him about the frog story again. And he's like, will you shut up about the goddamn frogs?
Goddamn frog again.
And then he's like, he breaks out the xylophone and runs towards the creature before they start shooting it, because he's like, and the preacher's even like, oh, it's one of God's creatures, you know? Like, even if it's a creature, a monster that's killing, it's one of God's creatures. And he runs up and he's like, God damn it, doctor, get back here. And he starts playing the ding doom, ding doom, doom.
Ooh,
Ding doom, ding doom, doom. And like over and over, and they show the monster and the doctor getting closer and closer, and he's getting excited because he's like,
the monster looks calm, so
right.
He's excited because they're like communicating with each other.
And one thing that you don't really need to explain is every time when he plays this, the monster lets his tongue out, and it does the noise, whatever. It does this noise. And every time the tongue comes out and snaps. So when he gets too close, out of his own curiosity, it comes out and accidentally kills him, maybe. So maybe the monster wasn't even trying to kill him.
Oh, it was just an accident.
Right, but then he was like, well, it tastes good, so let's kill him and throw him over here.
I'm hungry, bitch. I'm hungry. I haven't had a human being in like 2 days. God damn it.
They finally start just lighting up the motherfucker, and which, you know, just a lot of background explosions like most movies do with explosions.
Right, unnecessary Michael Bay shit.
Well, it's not even that. It's just, it doesn't even look like the fires are ever near it.
Right.
And they're doing it for safety, of course, but it's just like, it looks so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
over the top.
Yeah, like you wouldn't see shrapnel from something hitting it or something, or like dust or anything.
And it's just walking.
Yeah.
They're just shooting, and it's just like, oh, I'm going to get you. I'm going to take you to the closet.
Somehow, I don't remember what happens, but the monster goes away, I guess. He's just pissed off from being bothered. And they go over to help Dr. Pennyworth, who you think is dead, but they're asking him. Scoops is like, did you understand the monster? What did he say? And he leans up really slowly, and he's like, no. In his dying state, which is really funny to me. And then he's like, we must destroy all. And then he's like, I see frogs. Frogs. What are these frogs? Everywhere has frogs.
That was funny.
It's stupid, but you know, they don't find out what everybody needs to destroy, which we find out later that he meant to say destroy all of the closets. To kill it. And somebody, the woman, comes up with the idea that we must destroy all its energy.
Right.
To kill it.
Which is the closets, because that's how it regains.
Well, she was right,
energy.
but she was saying she thought that they would destroy it with electricity.
Right.
So they tried killing it with electricity by setting up a trap and playing the xylophone notes and like luring it into the house. And then it just breaks the fucking trap and then steals Richard because his glasses come off. And it falls in love with the beauty of him.
The beauty of him without his glasses on.
Yeah. And it starts wandering the streets. Instead of finding a closet, it wanders the streets for a long time with him in his arms. And then there was a funny scene where he was trying to get into a closet because at this time, the whole world knows that...
Destroy all the closets.
Yeah, destroy all the closets because electricity didn't work.
And there was this cool montage of like rich people setting their clothes on fire. And then it was ridiculous.
Like an old woman with a fucking fucking torch. Like, what the fuck were those things called? Like,
I don't know.
It was one of those pump
starters.
ones. Yeah, like she's like using a blowtorch or something.
It was so funny because no one would do that one, especially now if people can't even wear a fucking mask.
Well, then they had that other one where the scene where there was like 15 people just destroying the walls.
Yeah.
They were like destroying the walls around it, and you see the set in the background, and it was almost like they intentionally did it to have it in it.
Uh-huh. So. You see the people like beyond the wall, and they're just like do like doing their
like
jobs.
you're just hanging out.
Yeah.
That was stupid.
It was funny.
Then eventually they're like, oh my god, there's one closet left. It's at the Am America building or something.
Trans Am building in San Francisco.
Yeah, and like someone forgot to destroy that closet, but it can't get in because it's trying to carry...
too small. It's like a janitor's closet.
It's trying to carry Richard in, and it's like trying to fit him in, but it can't figure out how to do it because it's so stupid. So it walks out into the middle of the street and just dies and falls on Richard, pretty much. Of course, Richard's still alive, and everyone gathers around him, and they're like, it was the closet! The closet! He couldn't get in the closet that killed him! And the preacher's like, no! 'Twas beauty that killed beast.
The end.
It's so stupid.
It was so stupid.
It is funny,
but
though.
It was fun.
Yeah, I like that. I thought it was a fun little thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fun to talk about it, too. So, I mean.
Yeah, it was.
And even shitty movies sometimes are fun to talk about.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I would love to hear what you guys think about this movie since you've obviously listened this far. Or maybe you just didn't care and you felt like listening to us talk about it anyway. So we do have another movie that we're going to talk about. And Christina did the work on that.
And that is Cameron's Closet from 1988. A father who experiments with his son's psychokinetic powers is unaware that these experiments release a demon from hell, which lives in his son's closet.
Nice.
Preparing to take over the young boy's soul. Tagline for this movie is
Delicious soul.
It's not that. But the tagline for this movie is don't ever open the door. Okay.
Neat.
Durr.
Don't ever open the door.
Cameron's Closet was directed by Armin Mastroianni.
It's pretty close, yeah.
Okay. Best known for The Clairvoyant from 1982.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, Tales from the Dark Side episodes. Ton of TV movies from the 90s. He also did a bunch of Dark Shadows episodes from the 90s.
Really?
And a bunch of Friday the 13th, the series.
Okay, which I really want to watch that again. Mm-hmm. They're really bad, a lot of them, but some of them it's interesting.
I thought it was interesting, too. He also did a bunch of episodes, War of the World TV series.
Oh, they've done plenty.
I didn't even know there was a TV series in the 90s. But anyway, and this movie was written by Gary Brandner, who also did The Howling and like The Howling 2. A bunch of other stuff, which I thought is why you picked this movie.
No, but I did. Yeah, that's interesting to know.
Right. This movie stars Cotter Smith, who plays Sam. He was in Mindhunter, the TV series on Netflix. Mm-hmm. You Don't Know Jack, 2010, and X-Men 2, X-Men United, X2, X-Men United, whatever that was called. Also starring Mel Harris, who plays Nora. She was mostly known for her character in 30-something, and more recently, she was in the Shut-Eye series on Hulu. Mm-hmm. Scott Curtis, who plays Cameron, the kid, looks like he stopped acting in about 1990, but he was in Summer Camp Nightmare and that Santa Barbara series.
Okay.
Chuck McCann, who plays Ben, he was also in that Santa Barbara series. Mm-hmm. He was also the voice of Duckworth in DuckTales, a Woohoo. And he actually did a ton of voices for that whole genre, like Animaniacs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was also in Dracula Dead and Loving It.
Right, which we were almost going to pair with old Dracula.
Yeah, we were. This Cameron's Closet had a budget of $7 million.
Wow.
Well,
there's a lot of really big talent in this movie. Mm-hmm. And I also wanted to mention, I also did a little extra work. Some of the music in this movie is done by Harry Manfredini, who did Friday the 13th music. Oh. He's done a lot of other stuff, but he's mostly known for that in particular. And he's done a lot in the franchise for Friday the 13th.
Oh.
He also did the music in the video game that they, of iteration of Friday the 13th and stuff. So
that's like his life.
It's a big part. Yeah. I mean, he's done a lot of other stuff, but I'm just saying, right. And anybody that knows Friday the 13th will know who he is. Mm-hmm. Also, the special effects in this movie was done by Carlo Rambaldi, who got awards, like Oscar awards for E.T. and Alien. Mm-hmm. Like in E.T., he did the design of the creature and stuff like that. He also did the mechanical mouth thing for the alien and Alien.
Oh.
He also did King Kong, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Link. There's the link between the two movies.
Oh.
A Bay of Blood, Neverending Story, Silver Bullet, Dune, Deep Red, or Profunda Rosa, Conan the Barbarian, and so much more. So, he was really talented. Other than that, I know that the movie came out January 13th, 1989. Mm-hmm. So, just on the cusp of 88.
I was just saying what IMDb told me.
Right.
But Alex, was this your first time seeing this?
No, I've seen this plenty of times. I remember it more fondly now than I did before, though. Mm-hmm. This movie is much darker than it kind of feels on the exterior. Mm-hmm. It's the typical sort of classic movie making with a sort of edgy, dark kind of frightening for children kind of movie tucked in there. Because it feels like it plays like a movie that would be for kids. But then they have these moments that are like really kind of fucked up that would be shocking for a child.
Yeah.
I think partially that is the music that is in this movie, which is kind of a bad thing, surprisingly. Granted, I don't, while the music is not bad, it just didn't feel right for this movie. Like it has that sort of poltergeist sort of esque feel to it a little bit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really, I don't know. I don't know what to think. And it's not, obviously Manfredini is good at what he does, but maybe he didn't really, maybe it more is about the direction of this movie and how they directed it, stylized it, things like that. It does have, full on monsters and makeup and, Rambaldi did an amazing job in here, I think, for the most part. Although they didn't have as big a budget as E.T., so obviously it's not going to look as good as that. But they did a really good job with it. There's, this is obviously about a kid with psychic powers who's studied by his father and friend, and in doing so realizes he has the power to sort of will a demon into existence, or rather into his closet for this example. So, you would think that maybe you should try to stop the research, but it was already too late. And also maybe you shouldn't let your kids play with fucking demon totems. I don't know, something about that might just be a, common sense thought. Especially kids that are fucking psychic. Anyway, while this movie isn't, super engaging, it does have a lot to offer on the what the fuck factor. It's not necessarily an S-big movie, but it has some sort of a little bit schlocky moments in the creature effects and stuff like that. It's kind of like a weird, odd tonal mix. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like tonally, how it plays and how these moments like strike in the movie are just kind of at odds with one another. It's kind of weird way to describe it, but that's the best way I can. It's not scary at all, although I think it would be pretty frightening for children.
Makes sense.
If they were to see this, because the demon itself is pretty fucking terrifying with its stretched face skin and weird looking mouth. I don't know. It's odd. At times you get like a lot of dream segments, which are always yay for a fucking horror movie. Oh, it was all a dream, but while this real thing is going on. So it's like, do you really need these visions in the movie? Like, they're kind of annoying.
Right.
I mean, they add to some of the style and everything, but it does kind of get distracting and it really slows down the pace of the film, I feel.
Right.
Even because their main plot in this movie is that there's a bunch of people who have psychic powers and they're connecting in some way. So they're kind of trying to piece these two people together throughout the whole movie, and the kid and this other person.
The cop.
Yeah, which is stupid. I don't want to spoil it for you, but, whatever. Once you see it, it's not exactly a memorable film, but still, it for an old, almost forgotten movie, it's not that bad to pop on once in a while. And there were some pretty cool scenes that I really did forget about that I actually enjoyed more this time than the last time I watched it. Because I remembered it last time, I was like, oh, this is kind of forgettable. But then back then, I was being a little bit more picky.
Right.
They all needed to be 9s. They all needed to be 10s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I picked this up for $1. One time and just forgot about it, and then I was like, oh yeah,
we got a Zia.
Yeah,
that's right, because I remember you like freaking out about it.
Yeah, and there were some pretty cool scenes, but I'd say it's 5.5, maybe a 6 overall. If it's a 6, it's a 5.5 between the two of us, or a 5.25 between the two of us. So somewhere in there. It's over average because there is some really cool special effects in it. And if you are an 80s fan and you haven't seen this movie, you really should watch it, I think, and make a judgment for yourself and see where it lands for you. It could be better for you than you think, but it's not a great movie. It's not going to move mountains, but I think it's worth a watch. So I'm glad I own it too. So I'm glad we have it, because I don't know if that movie will ever get a Blu-ray.
Right.
Like, who knows if we'll ever carry that into the future, and I may have one of the remaining copies that you can get or some crazy shit. You can rent it on Prime right now for $2.99, and I think there might actually be a YouTube video for it. But as far as the DVD goes, looks like you can buy them used for about $20 right now. There is an anniversary edition of the book, apparently, because they have a paperback of it. I have no idea that was actually a book. So I guess this was based off the book. and they made a movie about it. I've never read it. It's a book by Gary Brandner, of course, who had written a lot of the Howling books too, so that sort of makes sense.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so have you guys seen this movie? I would love to hear what you think about it. If you have, if not, you can always try to find it and rent it online. There is a terrible quality copy online. I would not recommend watching that version. It's like somebody shot it from their couch. It's terrible.
Nice.
On YouTube, I mean. So if you're interested, just do the $2.99 and watch it that way, because you'll hate your life if you haven't. But yeah, we do have no trivia for this movie, of course, because there wasn't any. Most of the stuff I found was just digging into who worked on the movie and stuff like that. But we will be talking about the movie, so if you want to stick around for that. If not, there's timestamps down below. You can hear what we might be doing next week and what we got in store for you guys, so you can follow the timestamps down below. But here's your warning. All right, so we got our scenes.
Do we?
I guess, yeah. Are you still there with me? You still there, drunkie?
Was there a lot of good scenes in this movie?
What'd you say? There was a lot of scenes in this movie, actually. A lot of special effects. I mean, the story is kind of bland, but doesn't mean that there isn't good bits in here.
Yeah, it did start off pretty good with the dad. The dad is with the son.
Right,
he's got. They're
studying him because he's got psychic powers, which is kind of exploitative of your father to do of your son.
Mm-hmm. That's okay though; it happens.
But he pays the price by getting his head chopped off anyway, so it don't really fucking matter.
Doesn't he fall on a machete?
Right, which Cameron, somehow you think it's Cameron because they try to make you feel like it's Cameron doing all this stuff.
This telekinetic shit.
Right, but it's really the demon working through Cameron.
The demon in this statue.
Right. So he's like scolding Cameron too about playing with the fucking demon totem. Like, go break it, go bury it in the fucking backyard.
Yeah.
Whatever you gotta do, dude, because he keeps hearing roars coming from upstairs. And if I was studying a kid that made visions of demons appear in front of me, because they show this at one point in time, I would start to worry that, yeah, he brought a demon into existence.
Right.
Like, it's already too late. So the dad calls his buddy who's researching him, and they show like this montage of how they study him, which was pretty cool. They do a lot of reverse camera photography in it, which was kind of, whatever, it works. They did a really cool thing on the table where they had the magnets spell out "Hello, Ben" to his father's friend. Remember that?
Right.
That was kind of cool.
I
don't know how they did that. That actually looked really complex. So they might have had some thing on the...
Or stop animation or something.
No, I think it was all straight right there. Yeah. Pretty interesting how they did. I would love to have seen some sort of behind the scenes on it in the DVD, but no, we don't get it. Anyway, this is where his dad gets his head chopped off, which was pretty fucking gory. A lot of blood.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's not like a great looking death, but it's cool that it was in it.
Yeah. Yeah, especially straight off the bat.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's like
and
looking up in the attic. He hears something up in the attic and he's like, oh, I'm going to find that demon, and he goes up there and then falls on the machete and his head's squirting blood. It doesn't even look like you can see it cutting it. It's almost like the dummy laid on it.
Yeah, the fake head just was like,
It really did. But I thought it was cool. Either way. Then you get thrown into a cop who's on his job and he's having daydreams with his buddy who...
They were like chasing a guy. So he's like, oh, cool, I'm going to go get this guy. And he starts running after the guy and he shoots him in the head. And then he wakes up from a fucking dream.
Right.
Like, it was so stupid.
This happens quite a bit.
Yeah.
And regardless of him seeing this vision, all he tells anybody is that he fell asleep on the job.
Yeah.
And so the chief of police tells him that he needs to see a therapist because he fell asleep on the job.
On a, like, not even a stakeout. Like, they were after this guy and he just fell asleep.
But still seems a little extreme, right? Oh, you're having sleeping problems? Well, you're probably fucking crazy.
Right. And
like, nah, dog.
Right. And I'm going to resist my urge to make cop jokes. Just so you guys know,
I've warned her.
I'm holding back and it's very hard.
I've warned her.
It's very hard.
I was like, you've been saying it every time.
There's a ton of cop jokes I can make and I'm not gonna do it.
Anyway, I just thought it was a bit extreme that they're like making him fucking do all that. But he goes to the therapist and he shows up and runs into a cop, and there's this funny little exchange that happens when he says, he runs into this guy and the guy's like, oh yeah, I've been hearing voices in my head. And the voices have been telling me to like fucking, I don't know what the fuck they're like. It's like, I keep hearing these voices. Like, what do you got going on in your head? And he's like, oh, I'm just here to see a friend. And the guy's like, oh shit, like I just told you everything thinking you were a patient.
Right. Like we were cool, like you understood.
Yeah, I
but
know.
no, like you gotta make me think I'm fucking crazy.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny, but it's still... It's like these stereotypes, but I mean, it was 1988.
Meanwhile, Cameron is at his mom's house with her hunky, shirtless boyfriend who thinks talking shit to a fucking 8-year-old or 6-year-old is probably the best idea, telling him it's his house and he better listen up. He's all shaking him like a goddamn fucking dog. Like, real good guy, like he's a super good, like, who does that?
Well,
that was a theme though, right? In the
really
80s.
Was.
Like,
yeah, I was going to say that with the step parent.
Where they would like try to scare the fucking shit out of him because they didn't want to hear any shit from the kid.
Right.
So the kids wouldn't say anything to mom. But I would think nowadays, like, kids would just tell their mom.
Yeah.
Because they know they're smart enough to know that, like, she'll believe me.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it was like this in that Amityville.
Right.
Amityvilles, we always with the split parenting.
Part 2, was it?
No, not part 2. Like, I don't know. I don't remember. Anyway.
Wasn't that the one where the dad's like super violent towards the family all the time?
Right, but I'm talking to the split parent thing. Step parent.
Yeah.
Also, in that scene, the music was funky. It sounded like Disney music to me.
That's what I was saying. Like, there was moments in this movie that just didn't feel right.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense.
Like, maybe he didn't even, like, make it for that part and they put it in that part kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Cameron's getting adjusted to this new house with this new guy because his dad's dead. And, of course, he brought the demon with him to his new closet because, that's how it works, I guess. From his old closet to his new one, which his stepdad is pissed because he keeps hearing demon growls and he thinks it's Cameron. And he finds him talking to the closet while mom is getting shit-faced drunk on the fucking couch. And Bob, the step bro, is pissed that he hears Cameron once again after he warns him the first time. Mm-hmm. And he's like, who the fuck are you talking in that closet anyway? And he opens it up and he sees the demon who burns out his fucking eyes to ash. Like,
that was cool.
Like giant cigars get put out on his eyes.
Right.
And it's like hollowed out his eyes. Like, it's pretty fucking cool. And he's thrown 70 feet out a window and onto a fucking car.
Right.
Like, he gets yanked. I want to know how they did that scene.
Yeah.
Like, how did they get him to fly?
They must have used wires or something. Or it was a dummy. They just threw.
That's so weird.
Like a weird dummy.
He flew. Mm-hmm. Like, they must have had some really good editing. Because I don't know, man. That was like 70 feet at least, right?
Right. It was far.
Then the cops show up and they talk to Cameron's mom and she's all freaked out. Not even really upset about her boyfriend, by the way.
Which is good. She was more worried about her kid than her douche-ass boyfriend.
And then sleepy time fucking therapist, officer, detective, whatever, I can't think of his name. The dream problem cop talks to Cameron and they kind of hit it off. Like, he's like real understanding of Cameron and treats him like a normal kid because that's the way you're supposed to treat kids.
Right.
It's normal.
Right.
Not like a fucking idiot.
Right.
Anyway, it's pretty clear the detective is psychic.
Right.
And he just doesn't know it yet.
Right.
Like, it's plainly obvious.
Completely. Ever since the dream thing.
But they still insist on trying to fucking drag it out to explain it. Like it's going to be this big, aha, at the end.
Trickety turn.
And it's not. It's like, just get it over with. We need to know he's a psychic. And yeah, maybe he has these dreams every once in a while, but they're pissing me off. Mm-hmm. But he talks to Cameron and he's like, what is it? And he's like, what's in this closet? And he finds
the statue,
the Demon Totem or whatever it is in the closet, and he just pockets it right in front of the cop too. Isn't
that removing evidence from a scene? Isn't that like illegal?
It is highly illegal, yes.
Okay, I'm not going to make any cop jokes.
So the therapist shows up too, the same thing, because the cops bring her to come talk to Cameron.
To the kid, because it's procedure, because, some cops follow procedure. Shut your mouth, Christina.
So while the fucking therapist is talking to the mom after she talks to Cameron, she sees Cameron making a vase like freeze in time.
Because it looked like the vase was going to fall off the table, and he was like, oh shit. So he like stopped it from falling.
And I love that she's just like, oh, just psychic, no big deal. Oh, no big deal that the vase is just floating in midair. We're not in the Matrix. No big deal. Just blows it off like no whatever.
It was funny too because that shot, it obviously like they just paused the tape. It was, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah, it's not magic. It's not psychic powers. It's called editing.
Yeah, it's called pause. They just hit pause.
But Cameron is in therapy and predicts that Sam, the dream cop, will show up, and he does. And she's like, he's psychic, which Sam's like, asks Cameron about his demon toy, Destructor, he calls him, I guess. Isn't that what his name is?
Yeah, something like that.
Destructor. He says Dad gave it to him, and I'm like, what a fucking hero that guy is.
Well, I mean, he's dead.
Yeah, but I mean, like, who gives their kid a demon toy?
I
like,
would. That's why I don't
so
have kids,
weird. But late at night, Cameron hears the moans of the Destructor, and he tells him to pack his bags and get the fuck out. And Sam will protect him. Big mistake, by the way. The demon pushes him up the wall and turns on the ceiling fan. So this Cameron's like literally being pushed. And it's kind of interesting when you think about how they did the scene, because they had that room, you know, where it turns so that people can climb the wall like they did in
Jamiroquai.
No, in fucking Nightmare on Elm Street was I was thinking. Not Jamiroquai. But yeah, like where they make it like, but it's an actual kid actor doing this. So they had him doing it and him sliding closer and closer up the wall, across the ceiling towards the ceiling fan that's been amped up to fucking cocaine 11.
Question. Can a ceiling fan decapitate you?
No, but it would hurt, I would think.
It would just like knock you. It would just be like, ow, like somebody threw a ball.
I don't know if
it's,
you know, I mean, if you think about it, like.
If anybody knows anyone who has been killed by a ceiling fan, will you please message me? Thank you.
Well, I can just see the commercial now. Our fans blow a burst of so much wind that some are saying it's demonically good. So his mom busts in and then he falls. I don't know why the power stops all of a sudden, because he screams or something. Yeah,
and she busts open the door because she couldn't get the door unlocked.
Right. And Sam's partner goes to the house to check it out, because after this happens, they have an officer go to the house and check it out. And he looks in the closet and he sees the face of the fucking douche bro stepdad smiling. Right. And it does this weird fucked up smile where its corners of its mouth look like what's that character in the Conjuring universe, the Jankly man or whatever, the one that's really tall,
the crinkle
that has the smile,
right?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
kind of has that smile.
I just don't
but it's all practical effects and it looks really creepy.
It does. All the practical effects in this was awesome.
Yeah, it's really unsettling the way it looks, but he gets taken in the closet and killed, I guess. They visit Ben, who originally helped Cameron's dad study him, and then the same one who warned him that there would be problems so that he needed to stop. And he gives them the tape that Cameron's dad told him and called him in the very beginning of the movie to tell him to burn the tape so that no one knew about the research they were doing, because he didn't want the demon to get out, and he thought that would bring it about and would destroy it or whatever. But he gets the tape, and when they leave, Sam sees someone in the bushes, and it's his partner has been taken by this evil who was looking in the closet and screamed and saw this face, and he looks like a werewolf or some sort of vampire or something.
Yeah, he looks weird.
He's like, Sam, come here, it's me. He's like, what are you doing out here, man?
Do you want to buy some drugs?
Yeah, come here, I'll show you what I'm doing. It's his face like melts off his fucking skull, and Sam's like, what the fuck? Like, then they watch the tape, and there's like a lot of really cool stuff in there where like you can see Cameron like visualizing the demon's face in midair, like in front of him, like a projector.
Yeah, that was cool. Kind of reminded me of like a video game or something too.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. But then, just like that, Cameron's mother slips into the shower with her brother. Because they introduce her brother comes over to take care of her when her husband, her stepbro boyfriend died.
Yeah.
And he introduced, and then he slips in. She slinks into the shower, and we're like, what the fuck?
There's incest in this too? Jesus
I know.
Christ. But then we find out, oh, it's not really her. It's like the demon.
We just got out of fucking watching all these fucking Amityville incest movies, which is one of the common themes in that fucking movie.
Right.
On those movies in particular. But it turns out that it's not her. It's the demon. It kills him and bites his face or something.
Yeah, she like crashed through the shower.
She turns into a demon, and then like some weird arm or something grabs his face, or I don't know.
It was weird.
But Cameron runs out to get help because she's like, get help, get help. His mom wakes up from the crash, and he's picked up by Ben, the guy who was studying him years ago. Sam is like getting visions of that same hallway where he keeps dreaming about, that goes a little bit further each time. And he sees Cameron like looking at the wall in this hallway. And he turns to Sam, and the demon's trying to like choke him out because the Cameron demon, it just looks silly.
It looks silly. Around here is where, honestly, I started getting really bored.
Well, this is where they talk about the therapist is like in the dream, and it's like over the shoulder of the demon Cameron that's trying to choke him, and he's like, you got to kill him, Sam. You got to kill the demon. Cameron's a demon. You got to kill the demon. So essentially what has happened is that the only way that the demon can come through to existence and the reality is if a child is born in the lair of the demon, which happens to be the closet or his room. So it's like there's this whole narrative about how Sam is going to kill the fucking child with a knife or something like that. But next you see Sam go to the kid's house and try to stab Cameron, but it's another dream.
Of course, because we don't need another dream in this to throw us off. And that's when I was just like done. I was like, I'm done. This is stupid. So.
Ben, meanwhile, is teaching Cameron to fight the demon by meditating and all this other shit, and he gets him to like get into the subconscious state to try to meditate, and he's like, Cameron, the demon's gonna try to trick you. You need to focus your energy and your power to defeat it. And him and the fucking Ben guy start meditating, and then Ben's face starts bubbling up. Do you remember that? And like it like boils up and roasts him till he falls out of the room and in off of the balcony, and he's all shaking and frothing and shit, which was kind of funny. And then the therapist and Sam show up to the house, and Cameron is in some deep trance. And Sam gets trapped. He goes looking in the closet to try to fight this demon thing, the cop guy. In the closet world, whatever it is.
The closet dimension.
Where Cher sings all the time.
What? Do you believe?
Do you believe in love after love? I can feel the sound. Sorry, guys.
If I could turn back time.
Anyway, I'm such a stupid idiot. I'm sorry. Sam chases after Cameron because meditation-wise, Cameron is in the closet to defeat the monster, to defeat the demon. So he's astrally projecting himself into the demon world while Sam is walking physically or something into the demon world too, because I don't know, because why not?
Yeah, I got lost.
Cameron thinks that it's his father as he's reaching for his dad. Like the demons convinced him that the demon is his dad. So Cameron thinks his dad's alive. And then Sam yanks him away, and the little kid turns into a werewolf all of a sudden. His cop buddy again, who was like, I'm like, what? And they have this weird fight scene where they're like flying around the fucking cave in this demon hive or whatever the fuck they're in. And Sam is like fighting it through the air, which is really weird. It's like something out of fucking Big Trouble in Little China or some shit. I don't know. But you finally get to see the demon's final form, which kind of looks like a tall, skinny, weird, smashed-faced bat. Like, it's like a triangle.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looks like a triangle, like with the wide shoulders, but it's like bat wings, and then it goes down to a like tail that's like a scorpion's tail, but like not. It's weird.
It was weird.
Cameron, of course, is holding the statue, and the therapist is telling him to send the demon back. Send him back, Cameron. And the walls start collapsing, and you think it's over because they like crush the creature, the demon. But then, bam, pops out at Sam as he's trying to leave. And it's got its like weird red, beady little glowing eyes and snake-like tail. But like Cameron comes up in front of him and he's like, you need to stay away from Sam. Because the whole movie, he's talking about how Sam's going to protect him. And then he steps up to the plate and he's a hero.
Do you believe in...
Anyway.
I love how we turned this movie into a Cher
well, it's because I was making bad jokes.
I love it.
They only play Cher and Madonna in the closet world, by the way. What? I'm not making fun of anybody.
I know, it's funny.
That was like the thing back in the 90s. But anyway, so Cameron appears in front of the creature to protect Sam. He's holding his hands up. He's like, I brought you here and I'll send you back. I'm like, isn't that what parents say to their kids and they're acting up?
Yeah. I put you into this world.
I brought you into this world.
And I'll take you out.
Yeah. It's like, Jesus, what are you going to bury me out back, bro? Like, calm the fuck down. But that's the end of the movie. He saves him and it's like, a happy day.
Yay. Now we can go have our psychic powers in the closet together forever.
Yeah. Now we can play mind checkers or whatever the fuck you do after you defeat the demon. Yeah. And that's when Cameron summoned a whole new demon to have new adventures with his buddy Mind Cop. Anyway, yeah, that was I still like, there's some cool things, like we make fun of it and stuff, but it's still got some cool shit in it. Like, to me, that's more unique, it's more valuable that it has those little weird things in it, whether they executed it well or not, that you don't even really get to see in most movies.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? Like, when's the last time you saw a new movie that had something like that in it? Not the dream sequences. We could go without that shit.
Right.
I'm talking about the fucking...
Well, off the top of my
just
head,
creatures coming out of the wall and shit like that.
Right.
And then, like, in the closet. You don't see stuff like that anymore.
Right.
Like, we do see it sort of in, like, Conjuring and shit like that, but it just doesn't...
But it's scary. Like, it's beyond scary.
What do you mean?
It's not... Like,
The Conjuring?
This is more kid appropriate than, like, The Conjuring.
You think?
And The Conjuring is based off of true stories.
I don't know how well, but...
Well, I know, but still, I mean, that brings another element of weirdness and scary.
I always think about, like, Insidious. Like, I liked that movie, the first movie.
Yeah.
I really liked that movie, and I thought it was, like, really cool how they did it. But in the second one, it just feels like ghosts are standing around and shit.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really... It's not... I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't feel like it's a ghost. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, it needed something more to make it feel like a ghost instead of just some lady standing in the room, or
right. It needed to try to possess it. It had nothing to do. Like, they weren't doing anything.
Like, the best thing about the second one was Insidious 2. Second one is where she has the woman return who helped him in the beginning, who died, but it's the two investigators.
Yes.
They come to help again, even though she's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, spoiler alert. Anyway, I don't know why we were talking about that. I'm just trying to explain it, that's the closest thing we've gotten, and it's not even that much better.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I
that
just,
makes sense.
like, I feel like we're missing out on that, like...
lore.
It's a little bit more subtle these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not as, like, in your face.
Right.
Like, how...
Jump scares.
Yeah, like, well, no, not just jump scares, just paint it however you want, but it just seems more subtle these days. Like, they're going for more of the dramatic role in this era. Like, we're getting a lot more serious, like, drama horror kind of feeling, and some people are not really down for that.
Right.
And I kind of miss, like, all out over the top creature effects. Like, if it's practical, I can always appreciate it more.
Right.
Than I can in CGI, and I miss that.
Right.
So, take it for what you will, guys. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Let us know what you think of these movies. I would love to hear what you thoughts about them. What are we going to do for next week? Do you have any idea? Oh, wait, you do.
It's my birthday.
Yes.
It's my birthday.
So we're going to be doing everything that she wants.
We're going to do some exploitation.
So what are we going to do for drinks and like what else are we going to do?
Oh, just you wait. We're going to do lots of things.
There's some hoes in this house.
There's some hoes in this house. You know, wet ass pussy.
Jesus. Yeah, no. So what are we going to watch, Christina?
We are going to do some exploitation. We are going to do Whatever Happened to Baby Jane because I haven't seen it in forever. And then we are also going to do Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte.
And why are we doing that one?
That's because that is technically the sequel.
Ah, okay. Just explaining it to them so they know what these are.
Right.
Why did you pick these movies?
Because I have been absolutely obsessed with Betty Davis and Joan Crawford for a few years now, and I've been researching them, and the Feud show had a little bit to do with it, even though I never finished that series.
So you're going to have a lot of information for us next week.
I have 2 documentaries I'm watching, and then I also wanted to do it because Olivia de Havilland, I know I'm saying that wrong, she just passed away. She was in Gone with the Wind. Mm-hmm. She just passed away. She was 104 years old, and she is mostly known for Gone with the Wind, but also she's done a lot for women in the acting community, along with Betty Davis. Like they really forged women's rights.
We'll talk about more. Don't go too much into it.
Keep going.
She's gushing here.
Like
so next week you do all the trivia and I'll just do all the fucking who's in it, and you can kind of fill me in because I don't want to touch the trivia if you know all this shit.
Okay, well I know some stuff. I'll try.
Well, no, I mean it. Like if you're really into it, you should do the trivia.
I will.
I do it all the time.
And we're gonna get all gossipy and
Maybe
stuff.
Maybe give me a break once in a while, Christina.
Shut up. And there's so much juicy gossip between Betty Davis and Joan Crawford, especially for Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Oh, whoops.
Now, do you consider these horror?
Yes.
Why do you consider these horror?
Because they actually were made because of like Psycho coming out, and they were trying to ride that Alfred Hitchcock wave. Right.
Now, I may have seen the Baby Jane one, but I don't think I've seen the other one for sure.
Right. I haven't either, so I'm excited.
So yeah, we're going to be taking it back to the 1960s.
Early 60s.
Yeah. And
they're black and white.
Yeah, because it was cheaper back then. They still had color, but a lot of places were still choosing whether they wanted to do it or not.
Right.
Kind of like how they would do VHS over DVD.
Exactly.
So,
That's a good point. That's a good point.
It is. It's very much what they were doing. It's to save money. Right. You know what I mean? That's why a lot of people shoot on digital now because, well, there's multiple reasons, but one, it's cheaper, and 2, you can keep multiple different copies of it so it doesn't have to be stored in some like perfect location like film.
Right.
Well, this week, thank you guys so much for coming by. We'll see you next week for Christina's birthday.
Exploitation.
Bring gifts.
Send me cookies.
She likes goth material for the house. Halloween decor. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming by. Let us know what you think of these movies down in the comments section down below. If you've seen them, if you've not seen them, if you like them, if you didn't like them, if you were interested, did we interest you in seeing them? Do you even listen to what I'm saying? Does anybody listen to the end of this fucking episode?
Is anyone out there?
Yeah, is there anyone here? So we haven't done this in a while, so I'm gonna see who is listening to the end, and I'm going to say ice pick is the secret word for this episode. I don't know why, but no one's gonna say ice pick for no reason.
All right,
so we'll see if anybody listens. Anyway, guys, thank you for coming by, and as always,
long live the void.
To Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Tune in every Monday for a brand new episode.